Just like we dislike being called black, a lot of Europeans don't approve of being called white either. And here's the proof.
Look at this. Is this white?
We're talking about.
Is this white?
We're talking about skin color.
I don't care. Is this white?
We're talking about skin color.
I don't care. Tell me your question.
Your skin
Is it
color
white?
is white.
No, it's not. This is
Not
white.
that white. That's an object. We're talking about
Is
skin color.
This is the same color.
You're white.
This is the option.
So what you think you are? You think what color are you?
I'm peach.
Bro.
Stupid.
So I don't know which is funnier, the little girl arguing or the person arguing back with the little girl. But she's right. Just like our argument, my skin is not black. European skin is not white. The little girl's correct. Her skin is peach. My skin is brown. What is this white and black thing? But let's continue.
Whoa. Slow down there, Tex. There's no such thing as white heritage. There's heritage based off of region and country. But white heritage, that ain't no thing. Big difference between Scandinavian heritage, Italian heritage, Anglo-Saxon heritage from the British Isles. Those you would consider white or Caucasian, but their heritage is not the same. So now being proud of being white, nah, fam, that don't do it for me. That don't do it for me. I'm not proud that I'm white. I'm proud of my Swedish heritage, but it ain't because I'm white.
And I want to say one of the bigger factors for me is when you go to these other countries, the word white doesn't exist. White only exists in America. Even in Africa, they call you where you're from. But if you go to England, no one says I'm white. They says I'm English. You go to Italy, no one says I'm white. They say I'm Italian. Germany, I'm German. Australian, the list goes on and on. Only in America are we either white or black.
Except white isn't a heritage. It's not. There's no white heritage. There's Italian heritage. They were white. There's English heritage. White. Irish heritage. Ireland. White. Polish heritage. We can go on and on. It's not. White is not a heritage. It is a heritage you claim even before the mustache man for white supremacy, who, you're right, does not own that, because the Confederacy did the same thing, which you claim as a heritage, which is a white supremacist group, which would use the same things and did use the same stuff Adolf Hitler, the mustache man, did. They just did. It's in the history books, and there's no heritage. White race is a made-up thing by whites. Look it up.
You know, he's very right. And that's a very valid point that he's making. You know, not only until, like he says, the mustache man tried to deem himself superior to every other race, is where the construct of whiteness came from. And it's typically only used in America and only in white supremacist groups. The irony in that. But like he says, yeah, either you're from a specific country and that's what you are, or you're considered Caucasian, or you're considered European.
I'm genuinely excited that you asked this question because it gives me the opportunity to expound upon this concept a little bit. So I want to start on the front end by acknowledging that the social construct of whiteness here in America is real, and that there are inherent benefits to being born white in a country that has its origins rooted in white supremacy. That said, I've been able to disassociate myself from the identity of whiteness in that I do not derive any of my personal identity from the fact that my skin lacks melanin. I want to be explicitly clear when I state that whiteness is not real and that whiteness only exists in the presence of blackness or in the presence of other communities of color. One of the things that I observed growing up in an all-white community is that there is no meaningful solidarity around whiteness. When I look back across my childhood and I examine the times that my family was going through hardship, and I identify the people who were in a position to help us but ultimately chose not to, or in some circumstances deliberately went out of their way to make our lives more difficult, what I find is that it's exclusively old white people. What I found in these instances is that even though they were white and we were white, that whiteness did not provide any sense of connection to the point where they felt obligated to help us. And that's what you'll find anytime that everybody in the room is white, that whiteness does not provide a strong enough connection to overrule any of their individual self-interests. Clearly, the identity of whiteness has some appeal, some allure. If you don't believe me, go ask Enrique Tarrio. In fact, the only time that you'll see that whiteness has a meaningful binding effect is when people gather together for the express purpose of celebrating said whiteness.
Very valid point. The construct of whiteness, the rise in majority is here in America, where the word or the term whiteness really gravitates to. It's where it sits and festers at, it's in the white supremacist areas. There's no white race celebrations. There's no white race bonding. People really get together and celebrate their heritage. I know a lot of European people, Polish, German, and whatnot. And when they celebrate things, they're celebrating things that come from their ancestry, from their culture.
One of the most obnoxious things, obnoxious responses that I get from people who have white privilege when I say you're not actually white because whiteness is fake construct and you have a real ethnicity and you are choosing to adopt whiteness in order to gain the privileges of whiteness.
Actually, I'm a proud white American. And I am not a German anymore. I am not a French person anymore. I am not Polish. I'm not Irish. I'm white.
And that's the most problematic, because wow, Maskoff just saying that you're a member of you believe yourself to be a member of the Aryan master race, hilarious that you brag about that.
And I refuse, and I promise I will work on not calling people white anymore, because it's not a race. You have an ethnicity, like she said. Your ancestors come from somewhere, and it's not Whitesville, not White Sylvania, not White Land. You all come from somewhere, and that's the heritage that I'm not the one to tell anyone, but that's the heritage that you should be adopting. It's hard for us because we had our history wiped away, so we don't know where we came from. We don't know the tribes, the lineage of our ancestors. We know we come from Africa, but the average African American person has no idea where they're from because it was stripped away from us. For Caucasians, for Europeans, your lineage hasn't been erased. It's all there. What I'm preaching and what I'm actually walking is trying not to refer to people as white or black. I'm always going to preach love. I'm always going to preach knowledge, and I'm always going to preach being a better person. Those are the things that I try to do consistently every day. Trying. Thank you guys again for your time. Thank you for your comments, your likes. I am on the way to 1,000 subscribers, so if you could please subscribe, share, and again, leave a comment. I enjoy the conversations.